Good morning, Dual Coast fans. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Dual Coast Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Skoko, joined by my West Coast co-host, Russ Rogers, as always. Russ, how you feeling today?
Feeling great. I actually beat the alarm today.
Wow.
So, yeah, 4:42, my eyes popped open. I was like, I just pulled the phone down to quickly check what time it was, 4:42, and I was like, just laid back down, closed my eyes, and then boom, alarm went off at 4:50. So,
Nice.
I'm feeling great.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I can hear the waves. The waves, I have my door cracked, and the waves are pounding right now. Super loud.
Nice.
So, it's nice. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice.
So, what's going on today?
Not much, man, but we are starting up the podcast today with a little bit of a different motive or a different aspect this morning. So, Russ, we've been doing this for about 17 months, we'd say, maybe a little less, maybe 16 months. We just want to thank everybody this morning who listens to Dual Coast Podcast, who comes on here, hops on YouTube for the live feed, jumps on our Spotify at night. And we just want to show an immense amount of gratitude for everybody who's been listening to Dual Coast over the last year and a half or so.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Russ, what do you want to add to that?
Well, we kind of got this thing going, a little over 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, and just kind of like, hey, let's try something. Let's do something. What is it? Yep. We didn't know at the time when that question was posed, but over a period of months, formulated a plan with Dan, and he said, I think we should maybe look at, podcasting. I didn't really have that in my radar, but, it's been a ride, and just from beginning of January 2025 till right now, we're so blessed to have everybody that comes on and listens live each and every week. We're blessed to have the subscribers that we do have, and we're blessed to have the views that we have. I mean, we're somewhere between 50, 80,000 views over a 30-day period, which is unbelievable, to us. And so we're grateful for everybody that follows us, and please subscribe. Please listen in each and every week. And where else can people find us, Dan?
So we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. We always live stream every Tuesday morning, 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Instagram. Please check us out, guys. Like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Check us out on the live feeds and all our social media handles as well.
That's awesome.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening.
Yeah. Now.
Without further ado, we have a very special guest this morning who I have backstage. We're going to bring him out in just a second. Mr. Trevor Hicks. Russ, tell us a little bit about Trevor right there.
You know what? Trevor is, let me just say this, cool dude. I haven't known Trevor that long just because I was introduced through Dan Sikowski.
Yeah.
Met Trevor. Trevor and his wife travel around. They do videography and photography. Unbelievable. So I can't wait to dive in with them and get to know Trevor more today. And so we're looking at doing some stuff in 2027. So excited to meet him face to face today.
Let's bring
on
Trevor
Dual Coast. Let's go.
Let's go. What's up, Trevor?
Awesome,
Trevor!
Guys, good morning. What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
We decided, we've been talking about it a while. It's like, you know what? We need to take 2 minutes at the beginning of each stage, make sure that we get everybody, checked in, sound check, video, everything's good. Then we'll put them in backstage. Then we're going to do just a 2-minute little thing, just so you're not just sitting there, nodding your head and, wondering what's going on because the show's about you. So we'll take care of business, talk about, our Dual Coast, and then boom, there you are.
Yes.
Love it.
Trevor Hicks, hat backwards.
Love it.
Always.
What's happening out in Florida today?
Yeah,
or are you in Florida?
I am in Florida for this week. I just flew back from Zion for the week, leading an adventure retreat out there. And then I'm actually going back out to the West Coast, your side, Russ. I fly out there on Friday, and I'm there for about 2 weeks. So,
wow. Nice. What's happening in Cali?
Teaching the first weekend, and then I'm enjoying a 10-year anniversary trip with my wife. So we'll be up in Napa Valley and then to Seattle to see the World Cup.
Woo!
Awesome.
Wow. Big soccer fan, huh?
We are. We both played college soccer, and that's kind of how we met and
Okay.
we got connected after college. And it's stayed a big part of our life ever since. We've been planning our 10-year anniversary ever since like we were together for 4 years when they announced the World Cup in North America. So this is a big trip.
Planners.
So we're pretty pumped.
Planners. That's awesome. Have you been to the stadium?
I have not. I've never been to Seattle whatsoever.
Okay. I'm going to give you one suggestion.
Okay.
Food suggestion. Go to the Pink Door.
The Pink Door. All right.
That's the restaurant.
That's
Okay.
The Pink Door. Yep. It's fabulous. Right in the heart of Seattle. You'll absolutely love it. Concrete wall, Pink Door. Okay. Can't miss it.
Can't mess that one up. Pink Door. I think I can remember that pretty
The
easily.
stadium is epic.
awesome.
Yeah, it is excellent. If you can fit in a baseball game, even better, man.
Okay.
Yeah, going to the Mayor. They're right down the street from one another. I mean, walking distance.
We're staying right down the street. We're in the heart of Seattle for Sunday to Saturday while we're there. So we've got a place and
fish market. You're gonna love it.
I'm pretty pumped.
You got to get a video of you catching the flying fish.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Throw a salmon across. Whew,
Trevor,
you gotta catch it.
You always that video.
Yeah.
Always have to have it, right?
Yeah, and if you got good strong hands, go one-handed. But it's going to be a balance thing.
All right.
Yeah, flying fish at the fish market.
Challenge accepted. I'll be sure to send you the video when I do.
Trevor, flying fish and Pink Doors. You can't go wrong.
I know. What am I getting myself into in Seattle?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. My buddy is he's a chaplain over in Santa Clara, just 30 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm.
They have 6 of the World Cup games this year, right here in the Bay Area.
Yep.
And he said it's literally like, because we had the Super Bowl this year, right? So he said it's like having 6 Super Bowls for these events. And he said, and we don't have all of the top tier teams. If we had some of the top tier teams, it would be crazy. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
We thought about doing that here. It's in Miami, but I'm not a huge fan of Miami to begin with, let alone going down there for this craziness. I was like, no, thank you. But my son's a huge soccer fan as well too, so it might be in the cards even just to go down there and check out the atmosphere for the day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and speaking of Miami, let's just talk about Miami for a minute. I went to a Hurricanes football game last fall. I had to get an Uber back because I'm in West Palm Beach, and it's about a 1.5 mile walk to the Uber, Lyft, any of those ride shares, right? I'm like, this seems a little insane. Literally a 1.5 mile walk to the Uber site. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. So Miami, let's go. Come on.
Miami's a bit of its own beast. Let's say that. I discovered that in college, and I never went back. I was just like, nah, I'm good. You guys keep it.
Yeah. When I was getting the Uber on the way over there, the guy was like, do you want me to drop you off where it says? And I go, well, where's that? And he goes, it's like 1.5 miles from the stadium. And I go, no, drop me right off. I'll jump out, as soon as there's like a pause or whatever. And that's exactly what we did. Jump me off right in front of the stadium. I'm like, this is stupid.
They want to make sure you're dehydrated before you get to the stadium.
But it was awesome.
Keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So you doing some video work when you come out?
No, I won't be for that.
Okay.
This is purely a fun trip, and then just got added on teaching at the beginning of the weekend. So I don't think that's the history of me. So I have a doctorate in physical therapy and have treated and managed clinics and stuff for about 12 years. And then 2023, I kind of stepped out of clinical work and into a director role for a nonprofit here in town and started a holistic healthcare program. Ran with them for about 18 months. They got some new leadership and just kind of opted to go in a different direction. And my position was eliminated and ended on good terms, but decided, I'm gonna kind of go a different path. Had been getting into some real estate investing, and my wife had already owned a wedding photography, videography business that I had been helping her with on the side for pretty much whenever I could, and just kind of stepped full force into that. Step full force into flipping real estate, flipping houses, single family homes. Lending, and much more media aspects. So photo and video has been the prime push of ours here the last 1.5 years, as well as real estate, and just kind of leaning full force into that. But keeping my eyes open for opportunities to still get back into the health and wellness space. I still do treat as a physical therapist, usually about 2 days a week. I work PRN, part-time, whatever you want to call it, for another local healthcare company here. I still enjoy that and still still gets me in front of patients, still get to educate. And that's actually what I'm doing this weekend is I still teach, I still teach continuing education to PTs and OTs pretty much all over the country. And then, yeah, this next weekend, I'll be in Oakland, California teaching.
That's amazing. That's about an hour drive for me.
That's awesome, man.
Come over and get some therapy.
Yeah. Come on up. Come on up. We always need a test dummy. So we got
perfect client over there for you.
Yeah. We got a manual therapy course. You get a free adjustment, whatever you want, Russ. Come on
there
up.
You go, man. Trevor's got his hands in a little bit of everything, you know?
He's gonna start.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You and your wife are making it happen.
You got too many ailments. You're gonna have to start charging you though. Not free.
That's so cool, man.
Trevor, you've built a strong personal brand online. Would you say there was a moment that you realized you weren't just building an Instagram page at some point, you were trying to build yourself your own brand?
Yeah, I'd say there was definitely a turning point because for a while it was just, sharing my life, sharing my kids, sharing the life that we were building, cool photos that I had taken and stuff like that. But it was just more of just like, let's just share what we're doing. And then ultimately kind of starting to see the leverage of some of that, especially within real estate. I joined Creative Communities under Pace Morby, which was Gator and Sub2, and just kind of started really to see the power of personal brand and essentially what he's built with his own personal brand, and just kind of started taking it for real rather than just messing around and just posting pictures just to post pictures. Yeah. And really kind of started putting out there what day-to-day was like, what I was kind of striving for, what I was looking for. And it was kind of crazy as soon as I started putting it out there, what I was doing and what I was trying to build. The universe kind of answered, and the universe started bringing me more and more leads, more and more people into my life, figuring out, some of the who's that needed to help me make it happen, rather than trying to figure it out how to do it all on my own. So yeah, I would say that was a big turning point probably about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever change direction in that page? Like you were trying to build it towards something else, and then you're like, nah, I gotta pivot a little bit here.
That is the bane of my existence. I'm looking for the book I'm reading right now because you'd laugh. It's Pivot or Die. And that is pretty classic for me. I'm trying my best to kind of hone it in. If you've ever heard Pace Morby before, he always talks about the shiny object syndrome and not to chase it and all the things, but I am the stereotypical like ADHD. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go do that. And I have to rein myself back in of like, no, you're actually pretty decent at this. Just stick with it a little bit longer. It can actually become something a little bigger. And that's what media has really become, because my wife started it back in 2019 and was kind of doing her own thing, self-taught. And I had never really been much of a creative, and I saw what she was doing. I was like, holy cow, this stuff's really good. How do I help? How do I do this? And I started learning video to help her. And then I kind of got addicted to it too, and was like, man, we got compliments of all the like things that she was putting out for people. I like shooting anything but people. I like shooting all the landscape and all the other stuff, or like candids of people when you don't know I'm shooting you. Like again, at a mastermind where you're just talking, doing your thing, and I'm capturing you from all the other different angles, making you look cool, rather than like posing people. That's her thing. I can't do it. But I kind of started to realize like, just continuing to switch gears and pivot. And, I quote unquote would always tell myself I'm getting bored. But I like a challenge. I like learning new things. I do like having my hand in a little bit of everything. So that way I can kind of connect the people that I know to the other people that are right for them. But I'm also like, all right, I got to kind of stand this up and stick to one or two things and get really good at them and be really well known for those things. So that people know who to come to, and hopefully build some authority in that aspect too.
Or 3 or 4 things.
Yeah, you're right. That is how it's become.
So I want to get to Zion, but let's go back to college for just a moment. You and your wife were soccer players. What was the brightest shiny moment for you? What position first, and then what was the brightest shiny moment for you in soccer?
I played center defense pretty much not my whole life. Younger, I was a center forward, and then I think all the other kids got faster and I didn't. So it was like, all right, you're going to go back on defense. I also got bigger and taller. So I found in my home center defense. I was also a baseball player all the way through high school, kind of had the option to go one or the other. And my true love was soccer. My dad would probably still be upset to that. He was a big baseball player in college and stuff. But And it's going to sound weird, but my shining moment was actually dropping college soccer the end of my freshman year and just deciding to go play club, go have some fun. It was big, high pressure. Coach and I didn't really get along. And I was pretty miserable my freshman year at UCF. So I just decided I'm gonna step down, stepped away and never looked back. And it's been great because I was never going to go pro. My goal was to get to college, play soccer, have some fun. And I had a lot of fun, stayed in school for a long time, got a couple of degrees and yeah, had a great time. So that was probably the shining moment, was stepping away and kind of like, okay, it's time to get to real life now. You got to go get a career. You got to go figure out what you're doing, which if it sounds crazy, I'd switch majors like 5 times. I'm sure you wouldn't guess that after what I just told you before, but.
So are your friends kind of relating you to Messi and Ronaldo? Anything like that? No?
Not at all. Maybe in my son's eyes for a little bit longer. He's 9, but he's getting pretty darn good too. So he's probably just like, he's just some old man.
Yeah, that's funny. You know what I'm amazed at with soccer players is like these professionals like are as strong with their left foot as their right foot.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. When you see those guys hammer an opposite foot goal, it's like their strength, right?
Pretty incredible.
They're just, it's incredible to watch. You know, I think I've appreciated soccer more probably in the last 5-6 years than I ever have. So if like there's a highlight on ESPN or something, you know, especially with Messi, I mean, the guy's unbelievable, you know,
pretty incredible. And getting to have him so close now, like he's 4 hours away. Like I said, he's in Miami. And we go to Orlando City games, I'd say fairly often. And of course, we got a ticket to go to when Miami was coming to town. And then we find out he's hurt and he's not playing, or he's playing with the national team. And my son was like, what? Messi's not? Yeah. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I still never get to see him. You don't get off that easy and get to see him when you're not.
Right. Yeah. And Miami, let me remind you, fix the Uber thing. So let's go to Zion. What is tell us a little, I mean, you shared with me on the phone when we were, you know, first chatting it up and everything. Yeah. Tell us about Zion. What happened in this retreat? How did you set it up? What did you go about? What did you focus on while you were there?
Yeah, great question. And I appreciate you leading me there. So we did Zion here, just this past week, just got back on the overnight Sunday morning. And just before that in April, I actually took a group of people down to Havasu Falls in the Grand Canyon for like a 4-day, 3-night overnight camping trip down there. A little bit more rough, a little bit more rugged, off the grid. That was kind of the testing ground to see if anybody actually wanted to go. Zion was truly our version. I say our because I do have a partner in that, and our version of a 2-day mastermind. Obviously I film them, I go to them, I enjoy sitting down in a room, in a conference room, hearing speakers talk, getting to network with people. But I always walk away from there, and I'm truly a scholar because I went to school for so long. I consider myself a lifelong learner. I'm always looking for new education. And this is a big thing Dan's kind of instilled in me too, is like sometimes more knowledge doesn't necessarily mean more execution and more moving forward. Sometimes you just got to go in it scared and accept you don't know everything, but you're going to figure it out as you go. And that's been a big theme in my life the past couple of years since stepping away from, a W-2, was like, just do it scared, figure it out. So I knew that I wanted to kind of have my own thing within our community, within our real estate community. Everybody's like getting pushed to do 2-day masterminds or boot camps or whatever it is. And I saw a lot of them, and they were great. And I just said, I don't want to go the normal route and do what everybody else is doing. I want to have something different, something more that's really me. I mean, I teach 2-day seminars on the weekends for physical therapy. I didn't want it to be like that, sitting in a room and just kind of talking to you. Yeah. And then you networking on the breaks. I wanted it to be networking heavy, but also adventure and experience, because that's me. I love the outdoors. I love to camp. I love to hike. But also I'm a firm believer of like putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Your true colors will really come out. People will see, who's a leader in that group, who's not, when you're on a hike or something goes awry in the plans, you get a flat tire or whatever. And the true leaders are really going to step up. And truthfully, it was a way for me to kind of filter the room of like, okay, these are the people that I actually really want to work with. Yeah. And we find more things that we have in common, because you're out in, you don't usually go out and go hiking or go to Zion if you're not much of an outdoorsman, which is fine. But that's a quick and easy filter for me if I'm already getting people there that want to do it. And that was my partner's kind of same boat, as we were trying to find other people we wanted to work with, but ultimately just get good entrepreneurs, investors, real estate investors from all different walks of life out into these environments and get to know each other on a different level. And I'd say we pretty well accomplished that, and we had a pretty darn good time while we did it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
What a great experience, getting off the grid. I mean, this is, only just a little bit of a smidget of the experience that you had. Of course, Zion is a completely different animal, but we have just 10 minutes from here is Nisene Mark State Park. And, you got beach and you got redwood trees, just 10 minutes apart. So you drive up, you park, and then you just walk these trails. You're just looking up like at these massive, massive redwood trees that are just beautiful. You hear nothing but the wind blowing through the trees and the stream running down, about 150 feet down in this little, ravine. And then finally it levels out, and then you meet up with the stream and you're down there, and you're just, all you hear is that and birds. Like, it's just getting off the grid is so important, right?
Well, you might have found a new place for me to adventure this next coming weekend. Like I said, I get a little bit of downtime. I might be picking your brain for some direction there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is it like for you, just real quick? Like, what is it getting off the grid? Forget that you're with, other people and you're leading a group, but what does it mean to you to get off the grid?
I'd say kind of getting away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life, of just like, oh, I got to do this. This is my next task. I've got to answer this call. I've got to get on this meeting. I've got to, my wife and I actually went out to this portion of Zion. Our friends own a tiny home campground called Zion Tiny Getaways out in Apple Valley.
Zion
Tiny Getaways. I actually reached out to them when I had heard that they had purchased it and said, can we come out? Can we stay? Can we do some media for you? Some marketing materials? And they said, yeah, great. That'd be great. And when we went out there, I really, I'm capturing stuff sometimes on my phone, a lot of times on a camera or on a drone. But other times I'm trying to put my camera away. I'm trying to put my computer away and just be outdoors and be connected to nature and what God's put out there. And that's truly what getting off the grid is for me. I mean, even on daily walks, I try and do the same thing. I go across the street, I'll walk the neighborhood when the Florida weather allows it. But it's really just about disconnecting from, kind of taking a minute and pausing and just remembering, how grateful I am for the life that we have and, the nature that I've been provided with. I love traveling across the country and going to new places, but ultimately trying to do that in my own backyard more as well. Just taking advantage of what's around you.
And what does it do for you?
Say it helps to definitely refocus me, because I get very, caught up in the weeds of all the tasks I've got to do. I'm a big planner. I'm a big, list maker, so that I've got it all there, like all the tasks I need to check off for the day.
Yeah.
And a couple months back, I was just like, I'm just getting so wrapped up in that. And I feel like I never can breathe or take a break. And that's kind of become the rest and the reprieve. Like when I was out there in Zion with these people, I not only had the opportunity to just kind of disconnect and put my phone down and not worry about the emails and not worry about all that. Like, my attention was fully there. I mean, you can ask my family. I unfortunately didn't really get to talk with them much, being on a different time zone. By the time we were done and wrapped up for the day, it's 10:30 back home and my family's asleep. So it's like, okay, I was kind of forced to do that, which was good and bad. I mean, I'd spend every minute I could with my family and my kids, but it definitely forced me to kind of be in the moment, slow down a little bit, and really just connect with the people that were in front of me.
Yeah.
Super.
That's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Yep.
I feel like a mastermind would hit way different being in the outdoors as opposed to being in a room, so to speak. People probably way more vulnerable, willing to speak a little bit more, as opposed to raising your hand in front of a whole room type of thing where everybody's kind of focused to you.
That's the goal of it, Dan. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'd love to plug our next ones and have you guys as guests for some of them. You guys are always welcome. We've already got a couple more planned. One in August, we're going to go up to Glacier National Park, stay at an amazing cabin on Lake Blaine. And then actually in October, we're going to be doing fall back in Zion at the Tiny Getaways. It's 40 tiny homes. Everybody gets their own one, unless you're coming with a business partner or a significant other or whatever, and you want to stay together. We'll be doing quite possibly one of the hikes that's been on my bucket list for a while. It's very hard to get a permit to. Is called the Wave out there in Arizona. It's unbelievable. We'll be going into Zion National Park, doing the Narrows hike, all that fun stuff. So People are definitely more vulnerable. I can vouch for the last two. I mean, I've heard some. I had people in my groups who I look up to within our real estate community, and I feel like are doing really big things. And I was honored that they wanted to come to our mastermind. And on like day one or day two, they're sharing like some of the most personal stories I've ever heard. And I'm like, you wouldn't have gotten this in a mastermind, you know, some of these big rooms, 200, 300, 400, 500 people, but you've got a group of 8 to 13 were our two sizes of our groups. And it's just like people are let their guard down and just share with you the world. And it's like, okay, I really got to know those people versus just a very transactional, like, hey, cool. What's your name? Oh, Dan and Russ. Great. Good to meet you. You do this. Great. Okay. And moving on. Like it's quick. It's, you know, it's different.
Yeah. It's more personal when you got 8 people or so. You can talk to everybody a little bit about everything. Everybody's concentrated on each other. Everybody knows each other's names. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I know Dan would be interested in going in August, but he's got something else on his agenda in August.
Yeah, I got to get married first.
That's pretty important. You don't mess
so long as the hike is after the 22nd.
Actually, it'd probably be before. So you're good. No, I'm just kidding.
You go
maybe the October one.
That's fun.
Well, we usually wait until the end on this, but let me ask you this: if somebody is listening and they're interested in finding you and going to the Ziny Tiny Homes or going to the Wave or something like that, interested in going to a mindset, where would they find you to find out information about this?
Yeah, I put my Instagram handle there in our tag. It's Trevor_Ryan7. You can reach out to me there, or we actually just started an Instagram page for that, which is Epic Adventure Retreats. Cool. And then we've also got a web page for that too, which is epicadventureretreats.com. You can go on there and you can apply to be in our next one. And we'll have more information on both of those next two up there this week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Talking about the physical body, putting it through strain, putting it through, different temperatures and experiences that you're going out through. What do you think is one of the biggest things for people to overcome that fear going into something like this, to where they're like, they want to go, but they're kind of a little timid, held back. They finally commit, they do it. But what is it really that they're going to learn as they commit to something like this from a physical standpoint that obviously is going to help them mentally?
It's a great question. And I would say that's actually some of the testimonial questions I asked some of the attendees that I would say had a harder time physically this time and really pushed the limits, and were kind of getting to know where their boundaries lie. So that's been a theme of my life. I've always loved to compete, from soccer to triathlon to marathons to you name it. Just kind of going a little further and finding, what that limit is. Everybody talks about hitting your limit, and then finding it and then breaking through it. I think personally, if you can do that in a physical sense, it takes a lot of mental capacity to be able to push yourself through that, not just physically. Our mind tells us we can't go as far, but then we push through it, and then it's like, holy cow, I did that. I've been telling myself for years I couldn't do that. I would just say kind of come prepared to be uncomfortable, but be prepared to push your limits and be around other people that are going to support you. I mean, we were canyoneering and rappelling, and you could tell almost immediately people were uncomfortable, and they may not have let it show, because it was actually the first 2 people who volunteered and were like, no, we'll go first, hopped on the rope, and were like, then you could tell there was a little fear there.
Yeah.
They both faced it. They both came through it at the bottom, and actually made a pretty cool video about it afterwards, and was like, we just did that. Like, we were both terrified of this, but we got down it. We canyoneered down the canyon, and it was pretty amazing. So I would just say, come prepared for that. Yeah. But ultimately, you're around people that are going to support you. Nobody was like, come on, go faster, let's go. It was like, no, it was supportive. It was, a team atmosphere. And yeah, I just say, come and be prepared to be challenged and kind of find a new limit.
Awesome. It's something to be said in everyday life, right?
Yeah.
Having a team of people around you that are going to support you and help you, and whether it's canyoneering or rappelling into something, an adventure, new space in life, like, people are there to help you get through, right?
100%. Yeah. Find your tribe.
Yeah, there you go, like a tribe.
Yeah, exactly. Russ, how's your rappelling skill set?
I just rappelled yesterday.
Off the roof?
The palm tree out front.
Oh boy. Oh boy, you belong in
I
Florida.
know. I've got a question for you. Do you ever watch like Free Solo with Alex Honnold?
yeah.
Did you see the special on HBO with Dean Potter? Did you watch that one?
No.
Oh my gosh. I think it was after. Do you know Dean Potter or knew of Dean Potter? Okay. Well, he was one of those guys that pushed the envelope. So if you're out there and you're into that, definitely check it out. It's called Black Wizard, Dark Wizard, one of those two. Anyway, great on HBO. I was actually after the third episode, I felt drained watching this. Like my palms were sweaty. But I was actually drained. I said, I cannot watch the next episode right now. It is absolutely too much. This guy is pushing the envelope, just like Alex Honnold with Free Solo, and then he climbed that Beijing building, a couple months ago, 3 months ago. Like, it's incredible to think these guys going, to the feats that they did, right? And he's walking. What do they call it when you're walking across a line from
like slack line?
Yeah, slack line. So, he's like, I don't know, 1,500, 200, 2,000 feet up in the air over in China going across this thing. And I'm just like, it's unbelievable, and he falls. He's tied, but then when the actual event comes, he's not tied. Yeah. And he makes it across. He fell, I don't even know, like 10 times when he had the line, but still, he was grabbing onto the rope. But, it's like crazy. Crazy.
I
was just curious what if you're
those two, and I don't think I could ever go that route. I'm not a free soloer. I used to rock climb a lot in college, and now I've gotten my kids into it. We go to the gym down the street, but man, those are some crazy. And I've been to Yosemite, I've seen it, and I'm like, nah, no, not a shot. Not a shot. Maybe the first 10 feet.
It's not in the cards.
Yeah, not for me.
Well, Dean Potter also, because they were kind of. Dean Potter was out there first, and then Alex came in. Then there kind of became this rivalry between the two, and then Alex was just pushing Dean, to do stuff. And then Dean kind of ventured into some other things. So, yeah, crazy. Yeah, check it out.
That's wild. Trevor, so you're very multifaceted. You work in physical therapy still. You have the real estate, the videography, the epic adventures. What would you say is something you had to unlearn throughout this whole process that got you to where you are today?
I'd say that to sum it up into a couple words is the W-2 mindset. And what that means to me is that you are limited to what you are currently doing right now. And that's really the shape, form, and facet that the rest of your life is going to dictate. It was very hard for me to let that go. I said I probably wouldn't have let it go if I hadn't had the support of my wife. Honestly, when we talked about this, when I had gotten let go of that last job, or the job got eliminated, I was actually in the middle of physical therapy myself. I had just had a very large meniscal repair done on my knee, and I was on crutches, not putting any weight on it for 6 weeks. So I had a lot of time to think, because I was like, I can't go back and treat patients right now. I'm a patient. I can't walk. There's no way I can treat people. So fortunately for me, that was in November. So I got to spend all of Thanksgiving, all of, Christmas and Christmas break with my family. It was like 8 weeks while doing PT, and then starting to reapply for jobs in January. And I just had these moments where I was like, I really enjoy this. I was in the middle of a fix and flip at the time. So there was still some income that was being prepared to come in. And I was like, man, if I could still do this every day, walk my kids to school, spend time with them, spend time with my wife, more plan stuff during the day, and not just be stuck at a job from 7 to 5 every day, the opportunities really opened up. And that's when I really started to learn more on the real estate side. That's when I started to dive more into the media with her. And the rest has just kind of been a row of dominoes ever since then, of just like, okay, God, I'm listening to you opening other doors. He shut one door rather abruptly that I didn't think it was time to be closed. I thought I would still be working at that job. I enjoyed it. I had gotten some freedom, and I thought had created a pretty awesome program for people to get healthy, to get well, and was doing good. But he clearly had another plan. And ever since then, I've just been kind of saying yes. And like, okay, I'm listening, I'm following that. And yeah, I'd say that was the biggest thing I had to relearn, was that my plan was the one that was, what was supposed to be followed. And really, God's plan was something so much bigger and so much better than I could have dreamed of.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Man.
The word behind you obviously means something, because the word's there, right?
Mhm.
Believe. So what is that? Why is that word behind you there? And what is its significance to you?
Well, if you've ever seen the show Ted Lasso, and if you haven't, you definitely should. That is kind of the staple behind the show, right? He puts that up on the wall, and in the middle of the show, it actually gets ripped in half by his old assistant coach, and he tapes it back together and puts it back up, and that he uses in times for his team to really push through. And just like he's known for making these big speeches, and then there's certain times where he just looks up at the sign and goes up and he taps the sign and says nothing and just walks out. And like the team, you don't need any more words than that. So for me, it's just kind of believe in what God's put in front of me, and believe in my own God-given gifts, and just kind of the path that he's led me on. So it's just kind of a constant reminder of what I need to do each and every day. He's already provided me with the skills and the tools that I need for what is in front of me right now. I don't need to worry about what's 10 years in front of me, or what may or may not come to pass. Just, keep putting your foot in front of the other one day after another.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's awesome.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. I'm not familiar with Ted Lasso.
Oh, you're missing out.
I guess so. I got to check it out.
It is one of
Dean
the
Potter and Ted Lasso.
Dean Potter, Ted Lasso. All right, I got to check that out.
Ted Lassos. You will not be upset.
Other
Other than
no.
you just binge the whole series. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those binge watchers,
Is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Post podcast today, I'll be Ted Lasso.
There you go.
Trevor, I got to imagine that you read a fair amount of books looking at, being in real estate and PT and all the, the epic adventures. What would you say the best book you've read in the last year would be, and what has it meant to you?
It's tough. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I won't lie. Because I read a ton in school, and every time I sit down now, it's like, I'm studying for their tests. This is brutal. But I will say that I've kind of forced myself to kind of get back into the flow of things and start reading again. And especially on, I find like on these retreats, I'm able to sit and read. Like I took books with me on the hike. I took books with me to Zion, and actually had time to sit and read. The one I finished the fastest, which was actually a memoir, is actually sitting right here. I just finished. It's called Hiking Through. And it's a memoir of a guy who does the Appalachian Trail right after he tragically loses his wife to cancer. So it was pretty interesting the Appalachian Trail is, I've done pieces of it before. I've never done the whole thing. That's definitely something that's been on my radar though. So I just read that. And in terms of more of just an enjoyable read, I couldn't put it down. I was out on the couch every morning reading chapters, and my kid would come out and be like, how much further you got? And I finished it in like a week and a half, which is very fast for me.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some others that I've read. I always go back to Who Not How. I go back to that one a lot.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Oh, it is an amazing book.
And then the other one I would say is The One Thing. If you've never read that, it's really just, it was put in front of me and by a leader, when I was back in my W-2 within healthcare, and was really somebody who pushed me forward. I used to read that quite a bit, just to remind me. It's short, it's an easy read, and it talks about the one thing you need to do in your business that day that's going to push the business forward. Not the 20 things, but the one thing. And then pick that one thing and get it done first, so that no matter what else you get done, you got the most important thing done for the day. And again, I've mentioned that ADHD mind and kind of making these long lists. So even when I make a list now, I'm like, I circle the one thing of like, all right, this is the one thing I need to get done first. Do it first, get it done, and then move on to the others after that.
Sure. Wow.
Yeah, there's an old military guy that gave a speech, and he was talking about, life is about, it's getting things done and accomplishments. And the first thing you can do in the day is make your bed. Yeah. Even if your wife's still in it, make it. Like, make your side.
Yeah, I'll make my side.
I told her I was making it wrong, so I wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, but that's an accomplishment right out of the gate, right?
It's a mental win.
What's that?
It's a mental win. Something
It's a
right
mental
off the bat.
win. Yeah, make the bed. So, yeah, no, that's a good feeling. So, what's in front of you? What's coming up in front of you that is going to be one of your biggest challenges that you're going to face with any aspect of your business?
I'd say scaling what's in front of me right now is probably the biggest thing that not scares me, but that's the next biggest challenge. And staying consistent with some of the things we're doing right now with media and with the adventure retreats. I've kind of got the real estate on autopilot for right now. I've put systems and people in place for most of the fix and flips that I'm out of the day to day. Like, things got done this past week and I wasn't here. It was great. I had like 1-2 minute conversation with our contractor and come back and things are done. So that part is good. And I've scaled that to a point where I feel consistent with it and really want to put more effort into these adventure retreats and more of the media. So just kind of, again, being consistent with that and not getting distracted and just pushing it forward one day after the other.
Love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, what you're saying, speaks volumes to people that are listening, right? Or it should speak volumes. It means a lot to me what, the things that you're saying and, the process and trusting in others, because if you go back to the book that you mentioned, Who Not How, that is really what it is. It's not how I'm going to get there. It's who's going to help me get there. Right. And so when you're talking about flipping houses, like, these people are your who's. They're helping you get to where you want to go when it comes to that. And you relinquish a lot of that, right? And it's, 10 times is easier than 2 times. Another great book. So, that's a part of it as well, is releasing 80% of what we do and doing only the 20% so that we can think, we can, become visionaries. We can, cast the vision that's out there and develop a plan for all of these. And especially with your hand being involved in a number of things.
100%. I used to think I had to do it all and was very much brought up that way of like, if you want it done right, just do it yourself. And it's just cheaper just to do it yourself. And when I finally realized, well, yeah, it may be cheaper to do it yourself, but it's going to take you 10 times as long. And you're going to have to learn that new skill to do it the right way, or you're going to have to go back and do it again, versus actually made a whole lot more sense just hiring somebody who could do it 10 times faster. It might cost you a little bit of money, but now while they're doing it, you can be doing other things and kind of leveraging your time. And that was a big mindset shift for me. And it still is, like, hiring out some help and asking for help rather than just be like, no, I'll just go learn it and do it myself. Like, I'm always like, well, I have YouTube in front of me. I could learn any skill.
I was just going to say that, man.
Yep. You can find it, you can learn it, you can do it. But
it's going to
then
take
you
time.
don't realize the hours those people have already spent perfecting that skill.
Yeah.
Versus just you go in and think you're going to do it 100% the first time. It's like, nope, you failed. And by the time you spend the money to refix whatever you did and the time, you should have just hired it out to begin with.
Back to Home Depot.
Oh, too many Home Depot runs this past year. That was a promise to myself here recently. It was like, no more.
Oh man.
Trevor, so you've turned yourself into somebody who executes. You left the W-2 mindset, you went full entrepreneur mode, being involved in all these different investments, physical therapy, still doing their retreats. What would you say separates somebody who has that big dream mindset from somebody who actually executes?
Oof. It's a good question. And it's been a hot topic as of late. And again, that's something Dan's kind of turned my mind to too, is like, there's all these people that talk about doing all these big things. We throw out the word visionary. And I'm around a lot of them. And I kind of got annoyed after a while of just like, all right, we're talking about doing all these things. And we go to these meetings and host these Zooms and talk about all these big things that we're going to do. But nobody ever just puts pen to paper and actually starts getting some stuff done. Mm-hmm. I've met very few, and I have a fair few of them that I've, continued to work with and partner with and love. But that is the biggest thing that I would say is getting in there. Is it's okay to dream, but at some point you gotta do something. Take some action. I mean, that's what we talk about all the time, is like, take the action, fail and fall forward. And I heard that a lot. That's one of Pace's big things is, just take action. And I think it's taking calculated action at some point, not just going in blindly and losing a ton of money or making yourself look dumb, because some of these people are getting into deals and it's wiping them out and they can never recover from. And I don't ever recommend that, but taking action can look different to different people. Some people that can mean jumping into your first real estate deal and putting 10 grand down as their life savings. Sometimes it can just mean making a phone call and just being uncomfortable. Sometimes it can mean going on an adventure retreat and rappelling. It really just all depends on what that action is for you. And I believe it needs to scare you a little bit, because, you need to be uncomfortable in order to grow. Nobody ever, grew by just doing the things they're only good at and only things that they're comfortable with. So yeah, I think that's a big one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Last question. Wellness is not about perfection, but it's about progress. If you've watched some of our show, you always know that we're going to end with that question.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have drafted up a plan while you're in Zion on this question. No, I'm just kidding. But wellness is not about perfection, but it's about progress. And tell our listeners what that means to you and how people can apply that in their life.
It's such a good question. And honestly, that's what you and I connected on that first day, Russ, when we talked. Was I loved that. I didn't know who Dan was connecting me to, but then kind of hearing your background and hearing what you're pushing forward. Like I mentioned, that was my life. Wellness was my life for quite a long time. And I still consider it, because I'm still on my own wellness journey. But progress, not perfection, for me means you've got to do something each and every day. I've worked with a kid with Down syndrome for a long time. I say a kid, he's 23 now. His foundation is actually the 1% Better Foundation. He has really pushed the envelope and given me, I think of 1% better all the time. Now it's used constantly. People say 1% better, but they have it coined. It's a 1% Better Foundation. And he's here local with me in Florida. His name's Chris Nikich. He's an Ironman. He's a public speaker. He's an author. He's an Emmy Award winner. Incredible guy. And he just sets the example of progress, not perfection. And each and every day getting up and doing something, maybe it's a little bit more difficult than what you thought you were able to do yesterday. But if you just keep doing that each and every day, that progress is going to lead towards some immense gains over time. But it's not, everybody's looking for the quick pill or whatever, the get skinny quick shot or pill. I won't go down that road. But really it's the work that you put in each and every day that's going to show long-term. If you're just given the magic wand and able to lose that weight or get super fit, healthy, whatever, and a week, you're not going to appreciate that. You're not going to appreciate the work, and it's not going to last. And that was really what was the holistic wellness program that I put together was building that over a 12-week period of starting to do the work with other people in community, eating healthier, exercising, getting your mind right. Those three components together is really what's going to lead you to be healthy, not just deciding one day you're going to exercise or deciding one day you're going to eat less calories. It kind of goes all together. You got to get the mindset right, the body right, as well as like your habits and your daily lifestyle. Yeah.
Well, when you say doing something every day, it goes back to a word that you mentioned just a little while ago, is consistency, right? Even when we don't want to do it, if we do it, we'll find that consistency that takes us to that next level. So doing something every day, but thinking of the word consistency to add to that.
That's huge. I totally agree.
Awesome. Trevor,
tell us today, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Trevor, tell us again where people can find you and where people can find Epic Adventures.
Yeah, so I'm all over Instagram, Trevor_Ryan7, as well as Epic Adventure Retreats. I've got a couple of handles on there, and one will lead you to the other. If you just look in the bio, I'm on Facebook, on TikTok, all those fun things too. But I'd say Instagram's my main one. I get back to people pretty quickly on that. So would love to hear from you. And if you want to hear more about the Epic Adventure Retreats or, some of the media coverage that we do, like I said, we do a pretty wide variety of coverage, from masterminds to weddings, to you name it. So you got it. We'll make you look good behind the camera. So.
Wonderful, man. Well, if people that are out there want to go to Zion, seek out Trevor. If people want to, get filmed and get, photographed, see Trevor. If people want to buy a home, see Trevor. So, you got your hand. You need help physically, see Trevor.
Fair.
Fair. You need help, just come to me, and I'll if I can't do it, I'll put you in touch with the right person.
There you go. Just hey, you need to come up with 1-800-C-Trevor. That's it.
I think you just did. I got to go search it out now.
It's actually not bad at all. Trevor Hicks, thank you so much for being here today. This was a great episode. I think people got a lot out of today. We learned a lot.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate everybody listening. Please check us out, Dual Coast Podcast, at all social media handles. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Please check out Trevor on all his social media links and Epic Adventures. What was it? Epic Adventures Retreats, right?
Yep.
Epic Adventures Retreats. Check him out. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We'll see everybody next week.
Thanks,
you, guys.
Trevor.
Yeah.